This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the Town of North Haven.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. This is the September meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners. And I think what we'll do is we'll go through a couple of the preliminary matters very quickly, and then we'll move down to the swearing in. We have a number of officers to swear in tonight, and that way we won't keep you here until the end of the meeting. So with that said, may I have a motion to approve the minutes for the August 15th, 2018 special meeting?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes for the August 28th, 2018 regular and executive session meetings?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And why don't we do the monthly reports as well? Why don't, can I have a motion to approve the monthly reports for August of 2018?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
And Larry, you tell me there's no correspondence, or Robin, excuse me, there's no correspondence. So, given the crowd that we have, I guess before I move on to that, I just wanted to thank not only the commission members, but also the chief and the deputy chief and the officers that are involved in the hiring process. Over the last couple months, we've spent an awful lot of time going through applications, interviewing people, and I think making some, pretty fine selections for the town. But it's been a lot of time, it's been a lot of effort. I just wanted to thank everybody here. We've had good attendance and some good questions, so thank you all. And so now, may I have a motion to amend the agenda to move the swearing in of the 7 officers up to the slot right after correspondence?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Great. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. So I think what we'll do, we've got 7 officers to swear in tonight. So I think what we'll do is we'll take the 3 supernumeraries and swear them in together as a group. And then we'll move on and we'll swear in the other officers individually. So if William Kelly, Vincent Nacarado, and Rich Hannon could come forward, please. Welcome. Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the United States of America and the state of Connecticut, and will support the Constitution and the laws thereof. I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all duties incumbent upon me as a police officer of the town of North Haven. And I agree to obey and be bound by such rules and regulations as are or may be made from time to time established by the Board of Police Commissioners. So help me God. Congratulations.
I don't know, is there anybody who wants to pin a badge on?
Pin a badge? You don't want me to do that.
Do you have anybody here, or?
Have your wife do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Put the hair up.
Come on, Karen. This is your chance. Pretty cushy.
Put it in.
get out of the way.
I heard you. I just gasped. Nice.
The plastic one. And then we got Rich. We're gonna temporarily give you this one. Oh, you got your, oh, you have the other one? Okay. Oh, that's even better. You wanna have him put it on your? Oh, there she is.
More reliable choice.
Bring the stool.
It was a bad choice.
I think that's, is that a family violence issue now? Okay. So hang on to that one.
I'll keep this one up.
Yep.
Okay.
Then we have line number five. Good. All right.
And now we'll move on to swearing in the new officers individually. Michael Algana. Raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear that
I do solemnly swear that
I will bear true faith and allegiance to
I will bear true faith and allegiance to
the United States of America and the state of Connecticut,
the United States of America and the state of Connecticut,
and will support the Constitution and the laws thereof.
and will support the Constitution and the laws thereof.
I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
I will faithfully and impartially perform
all duties incumbent upon me as a police officer of the town of North Haven.
all duties incumbent upon me as a police officer in the town of North Haven.
And I agree to obey and be bound by
And I agree to obey and be bound by
such rules and regulations
such rules and regulations
as are or may be made
as are or may be made
from time to time established by the Board of Police Commissioners.
from time to time as established by the Board of Police Commissioners.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. So you have the honor.
Right on top of everything.
Matthew Ferrucci, please. Raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear that
I do solemnly swear that
I will bear true faith and allegiance to
I will bear true faith and allegiance to
the United States of America and the state of Connecticut,
the United States of America and the state of Connecticut,
and will support the Constitution and laws thereof.
and will support the Constitution and the laws thereof.
I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
all duties incumbent upon me as a police officer of the town of North Haven.
all duties incumbent upon me in the town of North Haven.
And I agree to obey and be bound by
And I agree to obey and be bound by
such rules and regulations
such rules and regulations
as are or may be made
as are or may be made
from time to time established by the Board of Police Commissioners.
from time to time by established by the Board of Police Commissioners.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I'm going to call on our Vice Chairman, Larry Lazaroff, to swear in the remaining two officers.
Brandon Woshinski.
Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that
I do solemnly swear that
I will bear true faith and allegiance to
I bear true faith and allegiance to the
the United States of America
United States of America
and the state of Connecticut,
and the state of Connecticut,
and will support the Constitution and the laws thereof.
and will support the Constitution and its laws thereof.
I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all duties incumbent upon me
all duties incumbent upon me
as a police officer of the town of North Haven,
as a police officer in the town of North Haven,
and I agree to obey and be bound by
and I agree to obey and be bound by
such rules and regulations
such rules and regulations
as are or may be made
as are or may be made
from time to time established by the Board of Police Commissioners.
established by the Board of Police Commissioners.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Brandon Burke, please.
Raise your right hand, please. I do solemnly swear that
I do solemnly swear that
I will bear true faith and allegiance to
I bear true faith and allegiance to
the United States of America
the United States of America
and the state of Connecticut,
and the state of Connecticut,
and will support the Constitution and the laws thereof.
and support the Constitution and the laws thereof.
I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform
discharge and perform
all duties incumbent upon me
all duties incumbent upon me
as a police officer of the town of North Haven.
as a police officer in the town of North Haven,
And I agree to obey and be bound by
and I agree to obey and be bound by
such rules and regulations
such rules and regulations
as are or may be made
as are or may be made
from time to time
from time to time
established by the Board of Police Commissioners.
established by the Board of Police Commissioners.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well, welcome each and every one of you. And why don't we take like a 5 or a 10-minute break? I think there's some refreshments in the back, and relax, get to know one another, and then we can get back to our meeting, and you can stay if you'd like, or you can take off. I guess we're back in session. I'll just do a very brief chairman's report. So As most people know, we kicked off the SRO program. Bob DePalma, Mark Iannone, and Ted Stockman completed the SRO training, and they've been deployed already. DePalma's at the middle school, Iannone's at Clintonville and Montouise, and Stockman's at Green Acres and Ridge. The feedback that we've heard so far has all been very positive. So we're pretty pleased with that. We just recently hired 3 new supernumeraries who were sworn in tonight. William Kelly, Vincent Nacarado, and Rich Hannon, who retired from our department on September 13th. Each was sworn in tonight. Following the training, Kelly and Nacarado will be deployed to the elementary schools. This will likely happen within the next 2 to 3 weeks. The chief will probably go into the renovations in his report, but the department renovations are behind schedule by about 7 or 8 weeks due to a delay in the steel delivery. And we're told that the steel is expected on site next week, so we'll keep our fingers crossed for that. And the only other issue I have is I just want to, on behalf of the department, I want to send our thoughts and condolences to the Hamden PD, which lost their canine officer, Viking, on Saturday, who died rather abruptly. As a department who has long had canine officers, we know how important they are to policing and how near and dear they've become to us. So again, our thoughts go out to the Hamden PD on their loss. That's all I have. Chief, I'll turn it over to you.
As you mentioned, we brought on some new people tonight. We've offered them our personal congratulations, but publicly I do want to congratulate them as well and welcome them to the North Haven Police Department. 3 of the 4 are certified police officers, so essentially as soon as they receive some abbreviated field training, just so they become acclimated to our rules and regulations, the way we do things a little different than perhaps they've done in the department they're coming from. They get a little acclimated to the roadways, our radios, our equipment. That should only be a couple weeks, then they'll be sent out to work. And their willingness to come to us at this point really does save the town substantial amount of money as far as training costs. And I'm not just talking about training dollars where we're sending them somewhere and paying to have them trained. It's they're filling a much needed void in our ranks, and we don't have to backfill on overtime. So that is we're appreciative of that. And then of course the lone recruit Brandon Burke, he goes to the academy on the 22nd on that'll be October 5 for 22 weeks. And as the chairman mentioned, Kelly and Nacarado go off into the elementary schools as supernumerary SROs. We have every confidence in their abilities, their experience, the skill set that they bring from their previous employment as police officers. It's really going to be good to have them. As far as our budget goes, we continue to stay within our expectations. We're actually a little bit under right now, which is a good thing, especially when we look at we're already at the end of the first quarter for this fiscal year. It went quick. So we only have 5 days left in September, and I don't expect that we're going to blow up our budget in 5 days. So we're in good position well there. The WTE Benary Scholarship, I have no request at all this month for them at all, for anyone for scholarship awards. Our major crimes, as far as the uniformed services and ISU, our major crimes they continue to be down for the calendar year. One thing that I would like to highlight, and kind of just to warn all of the residents, every once in a while we get these scams, these telephone scams, they're email scams often. Persons calling somebody's home, and sometimes they'll prey on the seniors or the elderly, in which they are calling on behalf of a family member, usually a child or more than likely a grandchild or a nephew or niece that is supposedly in trouble somewhere, in legal trouble. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get folks to get some type of monies out of them, sending them to either get, I guess, what's the best thing to call them? Gift cards. Oftentimes it's gift cards. Sometimes they'll send them to other places, just to Western Union wires. These are all scams. We don't deal when we look to take bail from people. We don't take them in gift cards. We don't take them in credit cards. We don't take them in. We don't ask people for social security numbers, that kind of thing. So everybody really needs to be aware that these are frauds. They're scams. Certainly, if you feel like you're not sure, give us a call. We'll straighten it out. But we intercepted one this past week, and fortunately, we were able to save somebody about $8,000. So.
The other popular one is, someone impersonating the IRS, and that's been rampant. And, the IRS does not do business over the phone.
Right. They usually send marshals to your home, or send some type of a demand letter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chief, I have a question about the budget. I'm not sure if I understand what the PDFD CAD is. We have a software vendor, which is NextGen, and what they've done is they break up their what we owe them as far as annual payments. Some of it is for the CAD, the computer-aided dispatch. So that's all software stuff. But we're a little over this year now, so.
We're
A little bit over this year?
we are a little bit over there, but we're a little bit under on one of the other ones.
Okay.
There was an increase on one of the annual payments, and you'll see that a couple of the line items where it looks like we're at 100%, or we're at 105%, or we're at 90%. These are annual payments that we make to our vendors. They always get paid in July, August, or September when municipal government is what I would call fat. Your budgets are fat, your budgets are brand new. They don't want to be paid in April, May, or June when the towns and the cities don't have any money left. So you'll see that all of your reoccurring, what we would call them, any type of warranties or any type of annual payments, they're all now. And you'll see on the CAD may be a tick higher on one end, and then on the other end, I can bring up my budget over here. You're gonna see where they're gonna probably be there's gonna be a shortage, but it does all balance out. We
Okay.
could put it all in one big line and just call it police software. That would probably be the easiest thing to do, and that might be something we might want to consider at the budget workshop.
Okay.
And just say, put it all on one number.
Okay.
All
right. Thank you.
Yep. As far as our other activity of note, we did have a bomb scare back on the 14th. It was a Friday afternoon, late evening, late afternoon, early evening, and that was down on Universal Drive, and that involved the Connecticut State Police coming down, and they x-rayed the suspicious package. They were not comfortable with just taking it and driving off with it. There was something there that they didn't like. They did detonate it right then and there. As it turns out, it was harmless, but it did require us shutting down the street, the roads, parking lot, making people stay in stores for some extended period of time. So unfortunately, that's the nature of the business, and you need to take those extra precautions. Sometimes it's inconvenience. I know some people like to drive through police roadblocks in those situations, and we did have somebody, and if he does come forward to see me,
I will have him arrested. The only reason I didn't arrest him, because I was there that night, is because we didn't have enough police officers to actually hold our perimeter. We were short as it was. We have people that were driving over parking lots from Best Buy and driving over the curb and over the grass to get into the DSW parking lot so they could drive through. So I didn't get the gentleman's name, but please, if you want, you can come see me, and you can make your complaint about me and to me, and I will get your name and we will arrest you on a warrant. Plain and simple. Support services and traffic. Hartford Turnpike, that's back on the radar screen. This is something that came in, I believe it was towards the end of last week, so probably didn't make it into your package, but it might be something that you may want to digest for our next meeting. There was a request of putting a traffic light or a flashing light there at Hartford Turnpike and Homewood Avenue as a result of a car accident. I looked at the last 3 years of the accident history. We were averaging roughly 4 accidents in a calendar year there. With the volume of traffic that is generated, that goes through there, you know, I suppose you would say 1 accident is too many, but 4 for the number of cars that go through there isn't a whole lot. I would think that the traffic light, if you were to consider something like that, it would cycle, and it would unnecessarily put cars into queue on Hartford Turnpike as well as on Homewood Avenue. And I would imagine that at the night hour, it would go on flash. So now you're going to have a traffic light that's going to be flashing in people's homes. I don't know if that is the best idea. Just by happenstance, what we did do is we recently purchased, and we're waiting for them to arrive. You'll see on some of the stop sign poles themselves, the state of Connecticut now is putting out the red strip that goes from the stop sign itself down to the ground. What it does is it's a high visibility strip. We ordered 4 of them for Blakesley and Pool Road, because we're always concerned about that traffic. If you remember, a couple months ago, we striped the road over there. This is just kind of an added something to grab their attention. Before this letter came in, we added 2 for Hartford Turnpike and Homewood Avenue, just by happenstance. I mean, so I think that's probably the best thing to do at this point, is to double check the striping in the road to make sure that years ago we authorized the town to put stop ahead on those streets. Of these accidents that are occurring over there, with the exception of one person actually drove through the stop sign according to a witness and didn't stop. All the other ones stopped and then they went through. All right, so what they're doing is they're not from North Haven. I think there was just one person that was from North Haven. So you got a lot of people from out of town that are using the roadway. They get there, they stop, and then they go. And it's one of those intersections. You have to stop, and you got to look 2 or 3 times.
People come down that hill pretty fast.
You know, so
And the
it's-
bushes were cut in that corner years ago also to make it easier for a line sight, so.
So I think the best course of action at this point would be to make sure that the road is properly striped as it has been in the past, and to put those reflectors up there. And I think that's a start.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
I tend to agree.
As far as traffic issues, you may also know that we kind of injected ourselves into the Cumberland Farms project. We normally don't get involved in ZBA issues. Planning and zoning will oftentimes ask us for some type of input on projects or development that's coming into town to see if it is in some way going to impact our police operations, whether it's traffic or parking. you know, any issues along sightline problems. But the ZBA one, I just felt that it was necessary to somebody to step up. Washington Avenue, Monroe Street, just felt it was not a good location for, this was gonna be a big traffic generator. And the ZBA did deny that application for the site approval over there. So in case you hear any talk in the, either in the RTC or the DTC.
And that was for the second time too, I believe, correct?
Yeah, that was me, so.
Right.
Records, professional standards and training. Rich De Palma continues to do well at the academy, and as we mentioned earlier, Brandon Burke, that we just swore in, he will start on October 5th. So De Palma should be getting out sometime in December, and this other one should, Brandon should be getting out probably in March, probably the beginning of March. As the chairman mentioned, as far as other business, the supernumerary and the SRO program, it's off and running. We've had a great deal of positive feedback so far. I'm sure that somewhere along the line, somebody will, will argue differently, but so far everything is going very, very well. Our radio building schedule. As mentioned earlier, again, we are back about 7 weeks, and that is due to the steel that has not been delivered. We were told it was going to be delivered in the beginning of September, and it was going to be erected in October. That didn't happen. The only what we've been told, and we have a meeting tomorrow in the trailer, is that it's coming on the 1st of October. Steel is supposed to be arriving on the 1st of October. What gives me a little bit of added optimism here is the fact that the construction team over here is bringing in a crane. And cranes are usually rented or leased by the construction company, and they're rented or leased on a daily basis for a lot of money. And I can't see where a construction outfit would front that kind of dollars, whether it's $3,000 or $4,000 a day, just to have a piece of equipment sitting there and not doing anything. So it gives me a little bit of added confidence that when they said it'll be here October 1, I think it'll be here October 1 or 2. So, and then they're going to have to move quickly, because we like to get as much of it buttoned up for the winter as we possibly can. And while they're waiting for the steel, of course, they find another oil tank. I guess back in 1964, 1965, when the original building was constructed, you just put dirt on top of things and you buried them. We found a foundation to the old house that used to be over there on Lindsley Street. That cost us some extra dollars to have that excavated, as well as to have the soil tested. And now they're doing some work out front of the PD, and they found an underground tank. So it's almost like the proverbial, you can't make it up. I mean, it's like, where did this stuff come from? Somebody just threw dirt on it and buried it. And 55 years later, we're paying a little bit extra. So that's what I said to the deputy chief, yesterday. I says, well, hopefully we are doing everything right, so in 55 years, when somebody puts a shovel in the ground over here.
So what is that costing to get that extra tank out?
So far, it cost us $7,500 to have it removed, and of course, there's some testing that needs to be done.
So it looked like it's relatively clean now, around the tank?
I think it didn't look too bad. I just saw the pictures. They weren't jumping up and down and telling us it was, it was gonna be problematic. It was more or less, yeah, we gotta get it looked at, so. Any other things I have would be for the executive session for personnel matters.
Deputy, anything from you?
No, thanks.
So we have a guest who has been patiently waiting. Normally, we would like to get you on the agenda, but since you have been so patient, we'd welcome to hear what you have to say. So if you could just identify yourself and let us know why you're here.
All right, my name is Michelle Pileggi. This is my husband Justin and our sons Noah and James.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. What's that? Our address is 190 Quinnipiac. Thank you very much. Yeah, our family's been living there for the past 40 years. His family, I married into it. And we bought the house from his mother, and we've been living there, and the traffic has been insane, always. But the last couple of years, it seems to have just exploded. We can't pull in or out of our driveway without, honking, and people, they ride right up to you. So that's been frustrating, with the two little guys, and with dog, we'd love to, walk our dog, or even have our kids cross the street, and that's next to impossible in this area. If we had the money, maybe we'd move out of there, but we don't. So this is our situation, and this is where we live, and I think we have, a right to feel safe in front of our home. I'm not sure what the remedy could be. You guys are the professionals. I don't know what the state will allow because it's a state road. We've seen cops at the gas station at the corner of Montelese, and we've seen people a little bit further past Nettleton. But you can't catch everybody. You can't be there all the time. And the traffic seems to be heaviest in the morning commute and the evening commute. And also there was a recent accident during the school drop-off at the bus at the corner of Nettleton and Montelese, right in front of the medical center there.
Montelese Health, yeah.
Yeah, the health. So that was a little scary because we were just right at the bus stop. And so, I don't know. I just wanted to get it on record that I'm complaining about it, and I'm trying to do something and show our kids that, this is the process you go through to get, some help, or start a dialogue, or just do something. So he recommended I come here, so here we are.
I would just summarize. I think right now, I think the speeding at morning bus time and afternoon bus time. I usually walk the kids down to the bus stop, which is around the corner on Nettleton. It's not uncommon to have a city bus or 18-wheeler go by. It feels like it's doing 40 or 50 miles an hour. In the accident that happened at bus time, that involved two cars in the street, and one ended up on the sidewalk. So if there was anyone on the sidewalk, that would have certainly been a fatality. So it's really the speeding. I've lived there my whole life. It's always been a busy street, that's fine, but I feel like the speeding has gotten worse. As you get a lot of more commercial vehicles using that as a kind of a pass-through, there's a concern just with kids being, on the sidewalk. So, we're just trying to get the process started on, trying to get them slowed down.
Just trying to visualize Quinnipiac and Nettleton, that's the cross street?
Yes,
Quinnipiac
yeah,
at
right
Nettleton?
there where the kids get on the bus or around the corner on Nettleton, about 30 yards in, on the cemetery, kind of this exit driveway to the condos over there. So they weren't actually, their bus stop is somewhat a ways away from the accident, but,
So you're between two traffic lights, correct? You're
Well, there's a traffic, the traffic,
south and then to
there's
one.
a traffic light at Montelese in Quinnipiac.
Yeah.
And the next traffic light is Middletown and Quinnipiac. So there's a pretty good stretch. So really what's happening is the cars will turn right onto Quinnipiac, heading towards New Haven, and by the time they get to where our house is, they're kind of hitting, good cruising speed. because you don't have a light until you get to the intersection of Middletown. So it's not uncommon for them to be going, you know, I'm not an expert, but it's, you know.
This is happening during rush hour in the mornings and the evenings, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
But it's not just isolated then, you know, it's definitely Saturdays, Sundays, they come flying by, it's like a,
Yeah, it's a busy street,
Like
Quinnipiac.
Yeah, it's always been busy.
And
You
it's-
have Medtronics down there, you've got gas stations, you've got all the things down there, Monterey's,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things down there.
You don't know offhand, Chief, how many accidents you have down there, like, I mean, this is the first you're hearing
There's
about?
been a boatload of accidents that, you know, as far as,
No, I would-
Middletown.
I would
But
say
yeah,
that.
I would say that, and after we received the email, we put the traffic counter and it measures the speed as well. So just so we can kind of get a grasp of what's best as far as the, and it probably is going to be mornings, people going to work, and people leaving to go home, you know? But, yeah, well,
So you think we'll have more information at the October meeting on this?
no, I think by the October meeting, it'll probably, I wouldn't say it's going to be resolved, but
No.
it'll certainly be addressed,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, I don't think we're.
You're not gonna fix it?
Yeah, magic. I think, you know, we're trying
Yeah.
to engage in the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
only thing you might be able to do, or that we could do for you, because, you know, they probably wouldn't listen to you, I mean, because it is a state road, is perhaps the, you know, they sometimes will put not a rumble strip across the road, because people always want rumble strips across the road. We don't do that. But they will sometimes do it on the yellow line.
Mm-hmm.
All right, or they'll do it on the, for the breakdown.
Yep.
All right, so when you hear that vibration on your tires, you tend to back off. a little
Right.
bit. So I mean, that might be something we can look at as well.
Okay.
Is there signage right now? Anything?
there's one 35-mile-an-hour sign, like coming from Monterey's going towards New
Yeah.
Haven, and it's covered by a big giant branch. I tacked signs to the pole, those were taken down,
Mhm.
Yeah, I think they need to be sanctioned signs.
yes.
Yeah,
Still sign,
there's a,
35-mile-an-hour sign.
yeah, the speed limit sign is, closer to the corner, of, Quinnipiac and Montelese. Yeah, I think you guys had put up the radar
Mhm.
up on the sign.
Mhm.
You kind of staked it out. I think you turn the corner where that is, you're not really up at cruising speed. Our house seems to be right in the sweet spot where you really get
Okay.
going.
Yep.
Um,
And then,
You guys were hanging out at, like on Nelson on the side street, and that's probably where you really that's where the people get their speed up. You kind of start to slow down and get ready for the next light over by, where CVS used to be, where gas is.
does that contraption collect any data?
Yes, it does.
It does, okay.
Yeah, it'll do a traffic count as far as, you know, and then it'll tell you what the high speed is, what the low speed is. It'll give you some other numbers as far as what the average speed is, what the median speed is. There's different, you know, things that it'll tell you. You know, our thing is we want to know what the premium spot is. You know, it's probably going to be, you know, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's probably going to be 4 to 5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the 8 o'clock is right when you get on the bus, that's kind of the intersection. I mean, they're getting off a little earlier at 3 o'clock, so that's better. The 8 o'clock is really kind of the danger, because everyone's rushing to work. So,
Right.
as you know.
So Chief, what happens if the data's collected and seeing as it's a
We-
state
we-
road?
Well,
does
we
it go to?
we still enforce the radar,
Mhm.
but what we would do is we would just say, hey, listen, you got how many hundreds of cars that are using it in the course of a day? And, you know, we're gonna, if we're taking enforcement action, you know, we'll see if there's something that they can suggest.
So you bring it to the state?
Yeah,
Let
we
them-
just make a phone call, because not that they won't listen to, not that they wouldn't listen to you or they wouldn't listen to you.
Mhm.
They tend to listen to us, because
Data.
we interact with them all
Right.
the time. And we just tell them, hey, listen, what can we do? Can you do something like the double yellow line in the center? And they've done it on a number of streets. I think they've done it on Hartford Turnpike in North Haven. I think they've done it on Middletown Avenue.
Mhm.
They've done it on Route 22. And what they do is they don't They just make it a little like choppy.
Right, no, I
So that
understand,
when you start to deviate a little bit, you'll get that vibration on your tires, and you
Yep.
tend to pull back, and you tend
They
to
have it a
slow
lot in
down
New Haven
little bit.
also.
Same thing on when you go into the breakdown lane. So, you know, but they got to be careful, because if somebody's using it for a bike lane or a walk lane or something, then somebody will complain and say that you're putting some type of
Yeah.
you know. So the state will look at it for us. You know. That's the I think
So
the
just
best.
just a general question, I mean, would they ever entertain, or do they, any kind of, I guess, more of a turn, like a stop sign or any kind of lights like that, or is that?
They wouldn't put a stop sign out. Stop signs are really to regulate the traffic
Mhm.
movement.
Yeah.
Stop signs are not really to stop or slow down cars,
Yep.
traffic. So, you know, same thing with a traffic light. Traffic light wouldn't be something that they would probably entertain, because there's probably not enough traffic coming out of the side street there.
Right.
You know,
Okay,
to justify it.
right.
So I think that the better thing to do is just to reach out to them and say, what do they have that they can help us with,
Okay,
you know, and then start,
right, of
you
course.
know, and just, you know, we might have to crawl, walk, and then run, you know.
Right.
But, you know, it's one of those things where it's you know, any of our state roads, Route 22, same thing, Washington Avenue.
Hartford Turnpike.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you can't put somebody on every street necessarily. But,
Well, there's a lot of cars on the road and everybody's going fast.
you know,
But maybe we could follow up at the next meeting, make sure it's on the agenda.
Yep.
I don't know if you would wait until then, if something became very obvious from the data in terms of reaching out to, you know, the DOT.
yeah, no, I think what we could do is we could reach out to
Okay.
that, you know, this week, and when Sergeant Mark Park gets back, he was off today. When he comes back from his days off, I think he had a couple days break, vacation. Just have him reach out to the folks up at the state DOT, explain the situation, and see what they can do for us. You know, it could be something where they just maybe use more of a high visibility sign.
Right.
But a lot of times the signs are only good for the first couple days or the first couple weeks, or for somebody that's new to the street. You know,
Exactly.
you're going to drive by it every day,
Right.
and you're not going to look at it. You won't even be able.
It wears off.
You know, I bet if I changed the sign and it said something completely different, you'd probably drive by it for 2 or 3 months and you wouldn't even know.
Right.
You know? It's the same, I think, with speed limits and any other traffic signs.
Thank you for your time.
Anything else?
Appreciate it.
No, that's it, thank you.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again.
Good night, guys.
Sure, have a good evening. So does anyone else have anything for a regular session?
No.
Okay.
No, I was asking if she wanted to close up.
Or water, we have water back there. You want to grab? So may I have a motion to move to executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And the
Great. Back in regular session, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.
All right.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.